and it is scheduled for one fall.
And it looks like the pinky was added later, I'm just saying.
Purple popcorn. Hey!
Introducing first, making his way to the ring, real deal, Cruz.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sanford, Florida, here at the Salvation Army. Vintage All-Star Wrestling presents Gold Rush, and I'm Blake Chadwick, joined by a special guest tonight, the General Manager of Vintage All-Star Wrestling, Big Pete Cannon.
Thanks, Blake. This is going to be a great show tonight. Gold Rush. We're going to have new champions. It's going to be fantastic. I'm on the edge of my seat.
As Big Pete Cannon said, new champions very well could be coming as all of the titles on the line. The Vintage Heavyweight title will be on the line as former TNA Impact star Jessy Sorensen coming to town to go one-on-one with the heavyweight champion Milo Beasley. The tag titles on the line. BeastMode defending against a brand new team to Vintage. Part of your tag team initiative there, Cannon. Of course, South Florida's finest E.R.A. and Maxx Stardom coming to Vintage. In addition, 16 men competing in the Vintage Gold Rush tournament. Random teams selected. The winners of each match will go on to a battle royal at the end of the night. Team number one here, Jayson Falcone and Mike Cruz. So we see team number one here, two guys who aren't necessarily on opposite sides of things in Cruz and Falcone, so they should be able to coexist. Let's see how this team plays out that they're going to be taking on. And here comes their first opponent, the lounge singing luchador, Maxwell Chicago. Chicago, of course, a key piece here in Vintage All-Star Wrestling. Went one-on-one with Rocky Santiago at our last show, which was certainly a great battle. Chicago does have some of the more fanfare here in Vintage Wrestling. He gets some of the loudest reactions we see. And let's see if he can advance past this match, coexist with whoever his partner is, get onto that battle royal, and possibly ascend the ladder 15 feet in the air. That Vintage Internet TV title hanging in the balance. And Chicago having a little bit difficult time getting in the ring right here.
They told me I'm a heel, so hey, shut up!
As referee Brian Rubright assigned to this contest, as he could have an interesting one ahead of him. As Sean LaFlash waiting to introduce the partner of Maxwell Chicago here. And let's see who it is. Don't recognize the music. Here come a bunch of officials. Oh, wait a second. I know what this could mean.
Yeah, I think we know.
This could only mean one thing. When you see all the officials pouring out, when you see everybody that's in control of this man come out, it can only mean one thing. And it could be trouble.
Here we go.
It could be trouble for Cruz. It could be trouble for Falcone, or even could be trouble for Maxwell Chicago. Here comes Deathrow Jethro, that amazing chain match in the last show against the Monster, was victorious there. Can Deathrow Jethro continue his winning ways? I think it'd be very interesting to see if Deathrow Jethro wins here, him trying to climb that ladder and pull down the belt.
You know, looking at Cruz and Falcone, they almost look like clones of one another. And then looking at Chicago and Deathrow there, they kind of look like clowns.
As Cruz and Falcone, certainly similar stature, similar build, both quick individuals, both can get at it, and you got to think here that's going to play into their advantage, certainly winning the luck of the draw here, where you look at certainly a dysfunctional team on the other side, Maxwell Chicago.
That's pretty wild.
And Deathrow Jethro, that's going to be an interesting one to see how they coexist. If I had to put an early line on it, I would say the favorites in this opening one would be Falcone and Cruz. but it remains to be seen as throughout this night we very well could see multiple tag teams facing off against each other. The Circle of Disrespect, Simon Says and Francisco Chiazzo, participants in this tournament. The Power, Barrington Hughes and Big BJ Murdoch, two men that debuted in Vintage last month as part of your tag team initiative, will be here in this tournament. Will they be on the same side? Will they be on opposite sides? A lot still left to come here tonight. This is our opening contest. Once again, the winners here of these tag matches, these 4 tag matches, the 8 men will go on to a Battle Royal. With the winners, the last 2 men in the Battle Royal will face off in a ladder match for the Internet TV title, a creation out of the mind of General Manager Big Pete Cannon, who is joining me here at the broadcast location. And this certainly will be an eventful night in Sanford.
You know, pure athleticism aside, I think that Cruz and Falcone might have the advantage. Pure aggression-wise and just sheer violence, we know that Deathrow can deliver. The variable here, I think, is going to be Maxwell Chicago. We don't know what he's going to do. We don't know sometimes what he's capable of doing. So this is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Chicago, always the wild card, as he will start things off with Jayson Falcone. Once again, referee Brian Rubright assigned to this one. As Chicago goes for the handshake, but if you listen to the crowd here in Sanford, I don't think too many people want to see Falcone shake his hand, and it looks like Falcone's going to get the upper hand right here as Karma comes back to bite Chicago, and the scoop slam by Falcone putting him in position, and he comes off the ropes with the leg drop, but he doesn't try to follow it up with a quick cover right there, as Falcone's going to make the tag to Mike Cruz. So these two working as a well-oiled machine early on, as Cruz there trying to get the upper hand with a European uppercut, but Chicago fights back there with a knee to the midsection. Once again, Cruz and Falcone looking like they're going to be able to gel early. But how will Maxwell, Chicago, and Deathrow Jethro coexist here? Chicago running the ropes, and he walks right into one of the crispest drop kicks in the game today in Mike Cruz. Lateral press, 2. Referee a little bit out of position, only going to get a 2 count. As Cruz brings him back to a vertical base, and Chicago in the wrong corner. Once again, a quick tag into Falcone. And Falcone going to town. Brings him back into the center of the ring. Falcone puts him up with a big scoop slam. And Jayson Falcone now wants to go to high-risk territory. This could be a mistake here. Chicago tries to get back up, and Maxwell Chicago running right into that top rope. It's going to ground Jayson Falcone, and that could be the opening his team needs.
Yep, that's that variable. You never know what he's going to do.
As Chicago now tries to gain the advantage. And look at Maxwell there. Makes the tag into Deathrow Jethro. So these two trying to coexist. Falcone in no man's land. Going to walk right into a right hand. And wait a second. I think you see a tag right there from Chicago.
There was some question from the referee.
I don't even know if Deathrow Jethro realizes there's been a tag made. And I'm not so sure the referee's acknowledging that tag, so it looks like Deathrow Jethro is still the legal man here. So Falcone here, trying to figure out where he's at, trying to get back to his corner. And that clubbing blow from Deathrow Jethro. And look at him cut the ring in half here. Just rears back against Falcone. And look at Deathrow Jethro there. We thought we saw a changing of his attitude in the last couple of months, but that aggressiveness coming right out again is Mike Cruz not too happy about it. And you see the double teams working here. Chicago and Deathrow Jethro, and coming into this one, Pete, didn't think we'd see these two coexist.
Not at all. They're opposite ends of the spectrum, but it seems like everything's going their way so far.
As the Frank Sinatra, the squared circle, tries to get the pinfall, and he's only going to get 2. So Chicago now brings him back up to a vertical base. Irish whip into the buckle. Chicago measuring him up here. Oh! And he charges in. He's going to eat a boot of Falcone. And this team of Falcone and Cruz could have found the opening they need. Goes for the short arm clothesline to Chicago. Ducks underneath does Falcone. Falcone's going to run it up. Tornado DDT. And down goes Maxwell Chicago. Both men are down. Who's going to make the tag? As Jayson Falcone looks like he's going to get back to his feet first or close to it. Oh, and Falcone there. Can't get it. And he's going to crawl over. There's the tag to Deathrow Jethro. And Falcone makes the tag into the real deal Mike Cruz. And listen to those forearm shivers ringing throughout Sanford, Florida. And Deathrow shoves him right down. This one's getting physical in a hurry. And Cruz there with consecutive drop kicks sends the big man reeling. from the state penitentiary in Louisiana. Deathrow Jethro charges the double clothesline, and he walks right into the double drop kick. And as you were talking about, Pete, Cruz and Falcone look to be on the same page here. And they go in stereo, and they walk right into the double clothesline. Look at the power of Deathrow Jethro. And he's signaling for that spike here. Wait a second. Oh, there's the tag. Maxwell Chicago now. And I do believe this is a legal tag. And Deathrow Jethro turns around. He's going to shove down Chicago. This one's breaking down right here, Pete. And there's the low bridge. Cruz sends him to the outside. It's a 2-on-1 situation. Chicago in there with Cruz and Falcone. Keep your eyes on Mike Cruz. And the suicide dive's going to take out Deathrow Jethro. Now Chicago, legal man in the ring along with Falcone, tries the fireman's carry. There's a roll from Falcone. 2, 3, and that'll do it. So the team that looked like they were going to be able to coexist are able to coexist as Jayson Falcone and Mike Cruz advance on to the 8-man battle royal with a right to get into the ladder match for the Internet Television Championship, while Maxwell Chicago and Deathrow Jethro, that team just implodes right in front of our face, a microcosm of what this tournament's really all about.